The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
It's Q101.
Ahoy! Let's go! We're waking up Chicago. Turn up the radio. It's time to start the show. On Q101 with the Morning Crew. Ahoy! Let's go! Welcome to the morning show.
Let's go. 312-591-8300 is how you communicate with us for the next 4 hours. Text, call. Anything on your mind, you can always check in with us right now. Something you want to talk to somebody about. There's no one around to talk about. We're here, Brian and Kenzie, on Q101. And I'm not putting this message out to our crew members, I swear, because I know how insanely loyal and awesome you are. We have the best listeners in the city. That's not a pandering statement. That's not a homer statement. It's just the truth. If you see what Kenzie, how she talks to people on the text line and all the things they remember about this show and all the things you show up for, all those things. Buy your Twisted tickets, ready for the party. It's selling great. Get your tickets this morning before all the shows are sold out at Q101.com. But what I'm saying is...
What are you saying?
Kenzie has a craving this morning. And
I'm dying to know the plan.
I cannot help you. I don't have any of this in my backpack. I have a little trail mix. I have a meat stick. And I do
not
have
offer your meat stick to me. That's disgusting, Brian.
It's a Archer.
Please call HR.
Is HR up?
I feel harassed.
It's a meat stick. It's what it's called. It's a meat
Be
stick.
like, I got a meat stick for you. You can't come in here and say that to me.
I would prefer, Brian, you not use such harsh language towards her.
It is an Archer
inappropriate.
organically grown meat
Organically
stick.
grown does not help.
Yeah.
I mean, credit to you, my man, but that does not help.
That's why I'm organic. Okay, I can't help you today. But Kenzie is craving something sour, like candy-wise. So what I'm saying is, don't bring any to the station. Do not do that right now, because that's happened before when we've opened the show.
Why? Speak for your damn self.
You don't. No.
Brian's like, don't show up to the station with the stuff Kenzie's craving.
That's
Why?
right.
Shut up. Shut the hell up.
Listen, I've said something about eating a Red Bull, and then it shows up. I don't.
Yeah,
want...
so you got all your cravings, and now that I have cravings, you're like, you guys are too much. Don't do it.
Just don't do it. Don't do it. I'll buy you something afterward if you can hang out 4 hours.
4 hours?
Yeah, for your sour candy.
Oh, my God, for the whole show.
She said she tore up the house all the way until she got in their car to leave looking for sour candy.
I understand. So last night, I haven't had, like, intense pregnancy cravings. Like, I've wanted food.
Right.
I'm like, oh, I'm really hungry now, whatever. But last night, I'm like, I would sign away my soul for a piece of sour candy, and I know it. And I'm like, I'm sure we have a piece of sour candy somewhere in the house. We have... Halloween bins, we have all this crap. There's going to be a sour straw or sour patch or an airhead sour, like something. I tore our house up. Like, my husband, Roman, was like, what are you looking for? Like, he thought I lost something. I'm like, a piece of sour candy. I'm going to kill somebody. And, like, I was so frustrated. There was none. Couldn't find any. And I know people have had intense cravings. I was literally borderline upset. Because I thought to myself, no problem. I know there's a piece of this in here somewhere.
You've already bought some Halloween candy or no? Getting ready? Like those big bags yet or no?
None of it's sour.
I know. You always go chocolate first.
So
At
we
least
have
I do.
all this chocolate, and then we have...
Oh, yeah.
I'm breaking
see?
stuff.
She needs that sour. Her mic broke.
No. So it's all chocolate, and then we also have, like, Starbursts.
Yeah.
Which are okay. Like,
Starbursts are very satisfying, but you got to eat about 50 of them to be satisfied.
Right. But it's also, like, it wasn't sour. It wasn't like the exact thing I wanted. And I'm like, oh, I dip into the Halloween candy. But I was emotional.
Now, how far is Target from your house?
A 10-minute drive. It was nighttime.
It
was nighttime at like 6:30 now.
It was not. Yeah, it wasn't getting the car worthy. But you probably wasted way more than that time
that was the
looking for the
problem,
candy.
Is that if from the jump I was like, I'm just gonna go drive and get this.
Yeah.
The issue is, we're already 35 minutes into the search. I need to go to bed.
The search for sour candy.
Oh my God. And I had showered because it's like, oh, now I'll have a little dessert. I want a little something.
Yeah.
I want sour candy. So I'm like, I have like soaking wet hair. I'm in pajamas, right? I'm like, oh my God.
I've seen people go in Target looking like that.
No,
You'd have been
I
fine.
can't do that.
You'd have been okay. You'd have been great.
I'm way too self-conscious to do that.
Do you know the power ranking for the best sour candy?
No, what is it?
So number 3, we'll build up. The Sweet Tarts Extreme Sour Chewy. Have you ever seen those? The Sweet Tarts used to be the little thing on the cylinder wrapper where you have to do that.
Yes. Can I put in my votes for what's going to be the number one most sour candy?
Go ahead.
Because this crap, even me, I'm like, when I have it. Sour Skittles are insane on the power level.
Okay.
Okay.
You think that's number one?
I think if it's in ranking, not what tastes the best, but what is the most sour, I think Sour Skittles. My favorite sour candy are the Airhead Sour Rainbow Strips. You know those strips?
Yes, I love those.
I literally would have given up a finger last night. I have 10 of them,
Yeah.
and I would have been like, I don't even use my pinky, and I wanted them so bad. So okay, go ahead.
Okay,
So the rest of
that's
us.
number three. Number
Okay.
two, which I don't think I've ever seen these or heard of these. Maybe everybody is saying you're crazy. The Lifesavers Gummy Sours. You ever seen
Yes.
a Life?
Yep,
I
absolutely.
don't know if I've had those. If our listeners have, check in the best sour candy. Let's help out Kenzie here. Although also Chef Sean checked in. He goes, I will be there to deliver some chips, candy, and soda near you in a few hours. So he does that for a living on the side. So his side hustle. So number one of the best sour candy out there is Sour Skittles.
Told you.
In the right thing, yes,
I
yeah.
know my sour candy.
Hell yeah, a 10 out of 10 in a rating.
They are sour as even sometimes for me, I'm like, I love really spicy things, really sour things. I like extreme flavors.
Yeah.
Really, really sweet. Nothing's too sweet for me, too sour, too spicy, okay?
Yeah.
And damn, Sour Skittles are really they're bitter.
Yeah, they're great. I've had those. I've never heard of the Lifesavers Gummy Sours. Never heard of those. But here's a description of the Sour Skittles. You can trust that when Skittles promises sour, they're bringing sour. Oh, one taste tester put it, it's super sour, makes you pucker, gives you the bite, has the texture. It's everything you want.
You know what? It is everything I want. You have no idea. But do you know what my favorite thing to do is? This is like one of those little psycho like tendencies that everyone has. I like to sit down with sour candy and a super, it has to be very, very icy cold water. And at the same time as I'm chewing, chug water. Really, because the candy hardens up because of the ice cold water.
And you crunch it again?
And it's crunchy.
Oh.
And then it's and then the flavor goes everywhere. Say you're eating something cherry, it makes it so cherry in your mouth. It makes it it makes it explode. I
That's
can't
a
say
you-
this sentence, so
that-
that's something
that-
inappropriate. But do you know what I'm saying?
That's a you thing.
I literally will. I have to sit down with the biggest tumbler of icy, full of ice water and my sour candy and go, and no one can disturb me. This is my 10 minutes. And I'm obsessed with it. If I get sour candy, don't have water, I'm like, no, it upsets me.
Well, we know a little bit more
Isn't
about
that
Kenzie
a
this morning.
weird tick?
It is weird, I gotta say.
I know.
But you do you though.
That's
you do you.
That's a me thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
We'll get to those facts that make your brain go boom. And also, it's multiple facts today. You kind of get to
We're saying
choose.
budget cuts, or what's the deal?
Yeah, I found it.
We lost our sound machine.
Yeah. We just in time paid the bill for 622. Oh, look, we got it. There we go.
We're selling the station for parts.
Yeah.
Brian and I share a microphone.
It's kind of like when you used to buy minutes for a phone. I only have so many explosions to buy.
Yeah.
We didn't get the unlimited plan with the explosions, so that might be the last one we get to use. I don't know.
I see.
Coming up after Cannons, we'll get to those facts.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Okay, time for a fact that makes your brain go. Here's a fact. 22 years ago this week, In the End, the original Linkin Park song version of that came out 22 years ago.
There's no way it's that old.
It was October 9th, 2001 that the single was released. The album came out a little bit earlier, and then that was released as a single. Hybrid Theory came out in 2000, which is even longer ago. But then October 9th, yesterday, Monday, 2001, In the End came out 20. Don't you feel like the Beatles came out 22 years ago?
I don't really have any recollection of the Beatles. I got to be honest with you.
Well, I think that's kind of, I think that when I think 20 years ago, I think something really old. And In the End, Linkin Park is really old.
Well, I'm thinking about it. It's 22, you said?
22, 2001.
So I'm 28. And I vividly remember, I was been banging this damn thing when I was 6.
Yeah. You were taking your
I
rattle
was
and going
thumping
along.
this when I was 6.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. In case the producer's even younger than you. He was 2.
Case, did you? Oh yeah, well that doesn't work. And there's no way you were listening to this when you were 2.
Not when I was 2, but my dad, being both a huge Jay-Z fan and a huge Linkin Park fan, he was on the Collision Course EP the day it came out. And that's some of my early music memories, is listening to Jay-Z and Linkin Park.
Could you imagine
I want to hear
if your 2 favorite musical artists
I know.
were Linkin Park and Jay-Z, you're like, oh my God. Because it's not like a likely pairing. Like,
They did what?
this is unbelievable.
And
What are the odds?
and it's your dad. You
Yeah.
know, like my dad loved Tony Bennett.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
My dad grew up like really into Stevie Ray Vaughan and blues music and country music and sort of things like that. And then when I was born, he just got really into hip hop. And I grew up with a hip hop head father, like Nappy Roots and Jay-Z and early Kanye. And I don't know why, but that really spoke to my father.
Good
You know
Lord.
what? Here's something really funny is my dad took a while to learn about Mr. Kanye West. And
Mr. West.
I think it was the presidential campaign that he's like, who's this guy?
Yeah, wait,
And
he's in the
started,
news all of a sudden.
Listening to stuff and looking into him. And he thought he was really funny because he said all this crap. My dad's like, this guy's hilarious. I'm like, well, he's being serious, which makes it less funny. It's not like a comedy skit. But I'm sitting there with my brother, and my dad's like, hear this Kanye guy? I'm a huge fan. And he goes, I love what he's doing right now. And I'm like, Dad, I gotta say, people are wearing shirts that are like, I miss the old Kanye.
Yeah.
My dad's like, this new guy, great. He has a hat that's like, I love the new Kanye. This guy's a hoot.
Not much of a fan of the musician, but outside of music, this guy makes some good points.
My dad's like laughing and I go, no, but he's being, what you're not picking up on is how serious he's being. You think he's being funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
It's a real bummer.
jumped on the wrong Kanye.
I
Jumped
know.
on the wrong train.
Everyone's been like wearing I miss the old Kanye shirts, and my dad's
Yeah.
like, have you guys seen this guy?
I miss the Kanye that was George Bush does not care about black people.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah.
And Mike Myers standing there next to him was the best thing ever. I agree. I think. I don't know where we're going here.
He just went like, he just continued with the
Yeah,
telethon.
the
He was
monologue.
like, please make sure you donate.
Oh,
He
God.
So
showed no
Hurricane Katrina's ravaged New Orleans. Anyways, Kanye, God.
He just moved on.
That's so good.
Oh God.
So that blew my mind that In the End from Linkin Park came out 22 years ago, and maybe that blows your mind. Now, here's a bonus fact, and see which one blows your mind more. 20 years ago this week, 20 years ago, this happened.
Again in the air, down the left field line. Alou reaching into the stands and couldn't get it, and he's livid with a fan.
You can tell what happened there? Brings back triggering memories.
It's triggering for me for different reasons.
Awfully close to fan interference right there. The umpire's all over it. The umpire right down there, Mike Everett's on the play. If Alou has to reach into the stands, it's fair game for the fans to catch the ball. If the fan reaches out over the field, then it can be ruled fan interference. That is very, very close.
And that was, of course, the Cubs 2003. The Bartman game happened this week, 20 years ago. With the Cubs just an out away from the World Series.
I can honestly say this is the time where I was like embarrassed to be a Cubs fan. How people treated that man. When, by the way, all the people around him throwing stuff at him who also reached for it,
Yeah.
they were just lucky enough to not catch it. That made me mad. I mean, for how long as Cubs fans were we the lovable losers?
Sure.
Okay,
well,
we
100
owned
years.
that name. We're supposed to be able to handle things better. We're not supposed to be that aggressive fan base where they call us like the happiest. We go to the bars after we do this. That I was so disgusted by the bullying towards, especially another fan on top of that. Not that I would excuse it, but it wasn't like the other team's fan. You're just like all livid, right?
Sure.
And I mean, I was disgusted. He was such a good guy. I don't know if you've seen the little like docu-series on him.
I've seen several of them. I know a guy that was 3 rows next to him or 3 seats over. He reached for the ball too.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say who he is, but he owned a prominent bar in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And he says in one of the documentaries, I could have been Bartman if I got the ball, and my bar would have been burned down to the ground if that happened. If I happened to get the ball, I reached for it.
All of those people in that area reached for it.
Yeah.
And then later, like, threw beers on him. It was like, shut up. Like, you're such a bandwagon piece of crap to try to do something and then realize everyone else is mad about it and go, oh, yeah, like, and, you know, get your pitchfork.
Yeah.
It just, that was so disturbing to me. He was a great guy. He volunteered, the volunteer coach for kids in baseball. He was a huge fan. I'm not saying it was a smart decision. It was a fan. You should have, but
it's a natural reaction. The ball's coming for you. Listen,
Right.
I'm the same way. I actually reached out at that time. I was on the air at Q101 when that happened 20 years ago, and I knew somebody that knew him. And I said, listen, I want to have him on my show, and I want to back him up. I want to tell everybody, you know, to stop this crap. It's stupid, and get him on and show what a good guy he is. And he got back to me at the time through this friend and said, thank you, I appreciate it, but I'm not doing anything media. I'm not going to talk about it ever. And you know what? Boy, did he stay with that. I mean, it's 20 years later. He's never spoken, ever, about it.
Why should he?
I know he shouldn't, but I mean, the urge to do it, though, look, think about it. Someone comes at you and they all do this. The urge to speak out and say your side of it is how today's society works and all that, and social media. This was pre-social media when this happened, but he never said anything about it. And, you know, obviously, I remember they invited him to the parade in 16, I think, to be on a float or something like that, but he just, you know, declined everything, and smartly so, perfectly. It was ridiculous. My brother was at the game. I was supposed to be at the game. I had to go do a Q101 strip club appearance at Diamond's Gentlemen's Club in West
Jesus.
Chicago.
I
had, trust me, I did not want to go.
He was there with his punch card. Shut up.
Are you kidding me? To be at that game? I mean, that game? Oh, it's terrible. Anyway, that was 20 years ago this week. I can't believe it. So Lincoln Park's in the end 22 years ago. 22. The Bartman game 20 years ago. All these things feel so close. Which one to you is more mind-blowing than that time frame? It's unbelievable. Anyway.
I think the music one's more mind-blowing to me.
Is it really?
So, well, yeah, because that doesn't even add up to me, because I remember, like, probably because you play songs in different parts of your life, too.
Yeah.
So I remember even in high school, middle school, playing that music, so it doesn't seem old.
Right.
Music has that timeless, like, if that song comes on, you get excited to hear it.
Yeah.
And then that song reminds you of today. It doesn't seem old.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And Jay-Z doesn't seem like an old artist to me. He's not like a grandpa or anything. You know, it's like a...
Yeah. Well,
Surprises
listen,
me.
I played the Numb Encore version. That's what I was kind of teasing you with that. And that came out in 04 just because I really wanted to hear that version. I mean, we're going to play in the end later on, but Kenzie wanted to hear this version. I want to hear it. Let's just play it.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We'll get the sports here in about 10 minutes. A lot going on. Hey, Blackhawks tonight. Let's go. Connor Bedard, the new era.
I can't say that name. What's the last name?
Connor Bedard.
I keep saying Bernard.
That's okay. I mean,
I think if I say it fast enough, it's like Worcestershire sauce. Where everyone knows
okay,
what you mean.
Say it fast.
Connor Bernard.
I thought you said Bedard.
No, I can't do it.
We'll get you there in sports. We
It
won't.
sounds like you have a stutter when you say there's so many D's.
Yeah, Bedard. Just one D. Well, there's one at the end and one in the middle.
Yeah, so there's more than one. That would be two. So suck it. That's what I said.
I thought that there was like several in the middle that were hanging you up on saying Bedard.
No, but Bernard. Connor Bernard.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all right. First, go Curtis with your headlines.
This is not headline news. Today is World Mental Health Day. Britney Spears' team started early by hiding all the knives. Applebee's Dollaritas are back. They only cost you $1. Well, and your dignity if someone sees you drinking one at Applebee's. NASA wants a moon colony by 2040. What are they going to call it? Moonhattan? Mooniopolis? Moontana? I can do this all day, people. Police in Orlando are looking for a murder suspect missing parts of all 4 limbs. So far, they're stumped. And David Lee Roth turned 69 today. Nowadays, for Dave, it's more like mall walking with the devil. This is not headline news.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.